7th interview is a lady called Aditi, and she is one of Yanis's customers based out of New York. Listening to this story, make sure you've got your 4 forces template in the timeline of progress and start mapping out what you think this is all about. At the end of the video, I'll share some more of my thoughts about how I see this one integrating to the existing research we've done and who I think she's most similar to so far.
Shared about this, but the purpose of this, nothing much. Okay, cool. So the purpose of this is that I'm trying to help him to better understand really the story that each of his different customers has had from the first point where they thought perhaps, maybe I need some help to do whatever it is, in your words, through to searching for and eventually landing on his course, and then the experience doing it. So it's very, very early stage research, but it's your story in your words, and it's all about the language that you use to describe it. Like, imagine you were just talking to a friend or something about what you were looking at the time. So the good news is you can't get anything wrong. There's no pressure or anything like that. No wrong answers. If you don't remember anything because maybe it was a while ago, that's fine as well. Just say pass. The bad news is where it's about language, I'm going to apologize up front because I'll probably interrupt. And it's not because I want to be rude. It's just like you might use a phrase and I've got to make sure I know what it means to you. So sorry for that. And you can kind of think about this. Imagine we're shooting a Netflix documentary series of Yanis's customers. This will be your episode. So I might ask some weird questions like, imagine I'm following you around with the film camera, shooting the scene or whatever. I find it helps jog people's memories and hopefully it makes it a bit less painful for your Thursday night?
Yep, that sounds great. I've been a user experience researcher, so very familiar with this format. So I'm happy to help out.
Awesome. This is awesome. So in this case, then you probably know what comes next. So Aditi, maybe can you just give me a bit of a story about like who are you, what's going on in the world around the time that you've joined? Like what's the important context about you and your life that might frame this?
So I've been creating content on LinkedIn since 2022, and my content was primarily text-based, and then I went into videos, and then I started exploring memes. But as I was doing that, I was also inclining toward doing like visual sort of communication, but my goal was, okay, I don't know how to draw these, so I'm just going to repurpose other people who are creating these visuals that I really resonate with, and I'm going to write my own thoughts on those visuals. So that was going on in my mind. So that's where I was looking at somebody like a Pejman Milani. I really liked the graphics that they drew. Couldn't really pinpoint like what I liked about them, but I really liked it. But after taking Yanis's course, I found like, oh, that is what I liked about this.
Okay.
So that was
So this is great. Thank you for that. So you've been creating LinkedIn content since 2022. Like why suddenly wake up one morning in 2022 and think?
No, it was I got a $5,000 grant from my university. I got it to promote my book, which was on college hookups in America and Gen Z. But then instead of using it to pay a PR agency, I paid a LinkedIn content coach who then put me down the path of creating content on LinkedIn to build your own brand. So I started with the intention that I wanted to build a brand around being a good researcher. But as I was creating content, I realized that people were resonating more with my immigration journey in the US. So I pivoted into creating content on that topic. And then along the years, I built a business around it as well, which is powered by social media.
Okay, this is awesome. Thanks, Sarah. I'm just trying to, while we're recording this, I'm just trying to make sure I do this, just so I've got this to come back to. So built a business, and that's powered by social media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, social. Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, the $5,000 grant was for you to help promote this book that you'd written and published?
Yes, $5,000 grant. Yeah, I wrote it, I published it. I was trying to promote my brand around it, but then I deviated into immigration.
Okay. When did you get the grant?
February, March of 2022.
Okay. And then, like you mentioned, you chose not to go down a PR agency route. You paid a LinkedIn content coach.
Mm-hmm.
Any more about
that? I mean, I'm a scrappy person, so I wanted to do this on my own. I didn't know what I would build content around LinkedIn. I mean, I've always been fascinated by social media.
Okay.
But I did not know what I will talk about in social media. So that gave me a reason to talk about in social media.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So if I'm hearing you right, the $5,000 grant was literally promote this, but they didn't have any stipulations on how, what, why. And so you've said I could pay a PR agency for this, but no, I'm a scrappy person. I've seen the power of social. And the LinkedIn content coach, what did they play any role in this journey? Like, what do they teach you? Like, what you've learned from there that might be of relevance?
She was really helpful in helping me create a mental model and structure around what I should be posting and how I should be posting. So she was very helpful in creating content calendars, and she also was the person who encouraged me to play around with different media types. So first I started with text on LinkedIn, then she told me, experiment with videos, and then she told me, well, you could also put carousels. So I was experimenting with these styles, and that's where I included my own style of memes. And that was kind of the genesis, now that I'm thinking about it, that I was leaning more toward, okay, how do I use visual storytelling, not using the terms visual storytelling, but like the things that I've been able to do with Yanis's course. Like I wanted to know more, but I just a lot of us, I thought that I don't know how to draw. Like, how do I communicate this? So that's where Yanis's course came in.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that. So this is really good. How long? So I got $5,000. I pay a LinkedIn content coach in sort of February, March 2022. How much content coaching do I get? Does it, like, I've got no idea what the price structure is over in the States. Is that like a
so it was
year's worth?
It was, I mean, the I forget the retainer, but she said that she would create 4 months of content for me. But I mean, I created, it was done with you sort of a service.
Okay. So basically, if I'm imagining this right, if you're my LinkedIn content coach, I give you $5,000, and across the next 4 months, she's going to come up with, or you're going to come up with a content calendar structure and help me think through the different posting. They're not ghostwriting; they're just helping you.
Yeah. So it was, I mean, because I also am a writer, so instead of just relinquishing all of it, I would give the posts to her, and she would kind of format it in a LinkedIn friendly way.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. And then I think you mentioned that you moved on. So you started off obviously thinking that you were going to do this to promote the book. At some point, you've spotted up that actually then it was, I want to build a brand around being a researcher. And then you've said that your immigrant journey has resonated more with your audience. How does that story unfold? Like, over what time period do I go from hey, I'm going to post about my book, to actually know I'm going to build a brand around being a researcher, to actually forget that, let's go and focus on the thing that resonates?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you start something, you just start with what you know. So I was posting about, how to write a good research. And then as I was talking to the consultant who I was working with at the time, we were talking about different things that were happening in my life. And in saying those stories, I disclosed how I got my green card in the US and how difficult it was for me as an Indian born. And she mentioned, like, you need to share this story. Like, you must share this story, because this is what people resonate. And I'm like, man, I don't want to do it. It's very cringy. I don't want to put my horn about like how I got a green card and my path to being an American. Like, that was just too cringy for me. But then I shared it, and that was one of the first posts that went viral with like 1 million impressions.
Wow.
So that led me to create what I'm still working on today. But yeah, that was an indicator from the audience that they were really curious, and they were resonating with what I was sharing.
Okay. That's cool. So it sounds like this happens very early in the game then. You've paid for 4 months.
2020, yeah, June 2022. Okay. I shared my story, and it went viral, and I just started going from there.
And then the business was created when?
Around that time. So I started very small. I would charge like $5 to consult people. And then after that, I started building a community around that. People started joining. It went from 0 to 1,000 to 3,000 to now 7,000. And more people who got their green card started joining in, and I did master classes with them. So like, I just kept doing things. So I wanted to have my own business, and I created that LLC pretty early on. So like around June 2022 is also when I created my LLC.
Got it. Okay, this is cool. Thank you. June 22 LLC. Cool. Thank you for that. I'll probably come back to it in a short while, but it's always good to capture the frame. Now, Yanis has mentioned to me that you've joined his course, but just had a quick look. I don't think I know anything about what you've purchased from him. So in your own words, how would you frame this up? Like, if you were saying to somebody else, I bought this, like, what would this be? How would you describe it?
I bought his course. So that was like a train of things that led me to Yanis. So I started following this person. His name is Jefferson Fisher. Because I've got my PhD in communication. I really am nerdy about communication. And Jefferson Fisher is personal injury lawyer who started creating content and giving people advice, actionable advice on like how to communicate better. So he wrote a book called The Next Conversation, which I purchased, and I noticed that there were doodles in that book to explain more succinctly what he was saying in words. And since I follow Jefferson Fisher online as well, I saw him tag Yanis, that this is the person who created those doodles. And I'm like, oh, who's this person? So then I meandered into Yanis's profile, and I saw that he was selling a course which was exponentially more cheaper than Pejman Milani's course. Yeah, so Pejman Milani was sharing a course on Maven for like $600, and Yanis had a similar thing for like 195 or something. So I just bought his course, and when I got into the course, that's when I realized that he also had a place where I could draw something and get his feedback. So that was very attractive to me, and something that I really like in the coaching space, that I want to get feedback from the person directly instead of just having a one-way communication. I have a two-way communication channel with them.
Got it. Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, so Jefferson Fisher, a lawyer who's talking about how to communicate better, writes a book titled, was it How to Communicate Better?
His name of the book is The Next Conversation.
Okay, The Next Conversation. Next. And this particular book is illustrated, and the illustrator of the book wasn't Jefferson Fisher, it was Yanis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you then found Yanis, seen the course, and it was exponentially more cheap than PJ Milani's course.
Mm-hmm.
But still, how do I go from I'm reading a book to I want to buy a course? Like what?
Yeah, because like I started the conversation that it was in my mind that, like I want to do something in the visual communication space. So when I saw that, well, instead of repurposing someone else's visual communication posts, I could create my own. That's where I was looking into people who were teaching this skill set. And the first person I got to know was PJ Milani. His course was a 6-week course in Maven. But again, like the price factor as well as the one unidirectional communication channel were the two negatives for me. But the price is what got me into Yanis's course. And what kept me motivated in staying in this course is the fact that he provides feedback.
Okay, this is cool. So thanks for that. So maybe if I drop down to one second. I think, sorry, excuse me. When did you join Yanis's course?
I have no idea. Maybe earlier this year. Okay. I want to say.
Where are you based? You're in New York or something like that?
I'm in Jersey.
Jersey. So if I'm filming the scene, are you the time you're signing up, are you putting on your snow gear because it's February, or are you enjoying the?
The thing is, like I might have been in India at the time, like maybe January or February. Yeah, I really do not remember.
Okay, no, that's fine. We can always get that, but roughly Jan Feb 25, and you said it was about $195.
Yeah.
You mentioned that obviously it was exponentially cheaper than PJ's course. Mm-hmm. Is $195 a lot of money?
I mean, it's throwaway money in that it's not a big dent in my pocket, and like I found value in what you're saying. Like his, again, like the $195. If you just look at his course, it's a very bare bones course. He has like 6 or 7 modules, but what I find valuable in any course that I join, at some point I just like, I'm not a big fan of like sitting and watching videos. Like I want to get to do the work. So I went through his course really fast, but what I wanted was his feedback on my work. So I made it a point to just send out my work to Yanis to get his feedback.
Okay. But I think you mentioned you discovered that was a feature once you joined and got into the course. It wasn't like broadcasters, hey, join this.
I don't remember that. Yeah, I really don't remember that. He said lifetime access. That's what I remember, but maybe it was there, but I truly do not remember.
No problem. So lifetime access. And so I think you said that it was a bare bones course. You've described it as. So what? Okay, so it's not a big dent in your pocket, $195, but $600 is exponentially more.
Yeah.
Why spend a third of the money on a bare bones course? What
I mean, I didn't know it was going to be bare bones. I when I looked into it, like he kept it pretty simple. Like from what I gather from Yanis, he's a pretty scrappy guy. He's not the most verbose individual. PJ Milani is a verbose individual. That just comes with being an American. And they talk a lot. But Giannis was like, listen, this is my process. These are the 4 things that you have to emote through a visual. This is how I do it. So like, I just remember that. And I was more interested in, like, again, sharpening my toolbox. So after I joined the course, when I saw that there's a channel called Get Feedback, now that I think about it, like, that's how I saw it. Like, oh wow, people are submitting their work and he's responding. That's what still keeps me in that course, keeps me active in that course, just getting his eyes on my work.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks. Just capture that as well. Cool. Okay, so if we're January, February 25, you pulled the trigger, you bought this course.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of March 2022 when you started on your kind of LinkedIn content journey. And then you've eventually gone through books. Like, when do you first start thinking like, hey, I need to do more visually, or whatever it was in your own words? Like, at what point between those 2 points?
Yeah, so when, like, one of the things about like visual storytelling, which I found was very universal, like now that I know what it is, like the elements, like I'll give you one example which Giannis teaches. Like, he says, like, you talk about feelings in the visual. For example, if you're climbing up a mountain and the bubble says, I can do this, and then in the middle you're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And then you accomplish it. That is a very universal emotion. And whoever is reading it is seeing it from where they are in their lives. Like, so for example, if you're a athlete, you're seeing it in one way. If you're going through an immigration journey that is very difficult, you're seeing it in one way. So that universality of emotions and resonance that people feel through a visual depiction, that was very appealing to me, especially somebody who loves communication. Like, I want to be great at visual, like speaking, like verbal communication. I want to be great at nonverbal communication. I want to be good at writing. I want to be good at listening. I want to be good at speaking. I never knew about such a thing called visual communications. I'm like, wow, this is yet another way to communicate your ideas. And I wanted to be good at it. And there was a self-limiting belief that I had, that I needed to be good at drawing, which Giannis dismantled. So that road became accessible to me.
Okay, this is really, really good. Thank you. So, self-limiting belief. So can you tell me about that? Like, I need to be good at, like, what is this self-limiting belief? Like, imagine I'm playing you. What's going on in my head?
Wow. I can't draw for shit. Like, I mean, truly, like, I'm very creative with a lot of things, but my brain stops at drawing. I have this great idea in my head, but to put it in paper, I'm like, what, how? But then, Giannis always keeps talking about, like, the hard part is not the drawing, the hard part is the idea. Because right now with AI, you can really spew your idea and you're going to get a whole bunch of visuals. Like, AI is going to draw that for you. And I've had conversations with Giannis where I'm like, listen, I'm just butchering AI to draw this concept because it's great in my mind. And he's like, that's exactly how you should be doing it. So that became that self-limiting belief was crushed when you hear somebody like Giannis, who's in an authoritative position to make a claim. And then when they show you a way and you get that first proof of concept, it becomes incrementally more believable and accessible.
Okay. And so, hang on. So if I, like, imagine I've got this self-limiting, I can't draw for shit. I'm good at many things. I'm good at lots and lots of communication channels. I've got a great idea, but I don't know how to put it on paper.
Yeah.
How does that suddenly get crushed by Giannis popping up and saying whatever he said?
Well, he was showing some of his work. And another thing, now that I think about why Yanis was the person who I went with instead of somebody like a PJ Milani, is also because Yanis's illustrations are very simple. Versus if you look at PJ Milani, it's much more advanced. Um, so Yanis's work was accessible to begin with, and then it did not get dismantled over like one day. But as I was taking Yanis's course and as he was explaining, what I started doing was collecting my ideas and gathering pictures that depict that idea, existing pictures. And I would like doodle them and I would send it to Yanis, and then he would say, "Oh, yeah, I get what you're trying to communicate." So it was not really drawing, it was just me having existing pictures and like using that to communicate my idea. So I was not, I still don't illustrate. I just use existing pictures. So for example, um, the picture of a rabbit with a carrot. And on one side of the picture, the carrot has a very bushy top, but like a small little vegetable under the ground. And on the other illustration, the top is very small, but the carrot is really big. Like that's a picture that exists. But I wanted to use that to elucidate an immigration idea. So I used that as an assignment submission. And then looking at Yanis, see that submission and get the idea, help me help me believe that, yeah, okay, I can do this visual communication without having to like illustrate.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, pre-joining the course, I've seen the simplicity of his ideas. I'm seeing the fact that he says that, you know,
simplicity of his illustrations more than his ideas, I would say. Simplicity of his illustration and resonance of his ideas.
Okay. That's great. Thanks. Let me just capture that. And resonance. And when you say resonance, what do you mean?
The fact that I can relate to it when he talks about, you know, when you're enjoying your work, how it feels, and when you're not enjoying your work, how it feels. So just the underlying idea that he was communicating with this simple illustrations.
Okay, so if I see one of his illustrations and it seems like it speaks to me and I can resonate with it, and is that tied to the simplicity, or is the simplicity a separate attribute of the?
I mean, it all works in tandem.
Yeah. That's cool. Now, enough of this got you in to say, look, I can't draw for shit or whatever, but yes, of course, pulls me in. It sounds like that idea was crushed by taking the course, not necessarily pre-course. So you still had some doubts pre-course about being able to draw for shit?
Oh yeah, I mean, again, I wouldn't say crushed. I would say like deflated. It took time. It was not like what was 0 to 100. You know, it never is. But like right now, for example, like another perspective shift that happened when taking his course was like the shift of focus from don't worry about the drawing, let's talk about the idea first. That's something that I've seen him repeatedly do when he's giving feedback, that okay, the drawing is great, but the idea is too complicated, like it's too unclear. Even if with a great drawing if the idea is unclear, then it really does not land. So that kind of perspective shift in hindsight has been very valuable.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks. That's cool. And you mentioned like you're now creating these things, so I can go and get this rabbit, the carrot tops, and stuff like this. Yeah, gets it. I don't illustrate. I think is what you said.
Yeah.
What's the difference between whatever visuals you come up that I've seen on the course or on LinkedIn and an illustrator coming up with the same thing? Like
I mean, I would equate it to like an original song and a cover.
Okay.
So when Giannis is illustrating something, like he is literally like drawing it out, right? Like he talks about like you can do it as a graph, you can do it as a vector, whatever. But the illustration of a rabbit with the two types of carrots exists, but it has never existed within the context of immigration.
Okay.
In that way, yeah. So in that way, it's like, you have a rock song, but now you're singing it as a 1960s medley. So that's what I'm doing. Like I'm putting my own spin on something that exists instead of like, oh, let me think of a carrot and a rabbit and like let me draw. Not there yet.
And so if I'm hearing you right, let me zoom back up to the top. What it sounds like, you started off and you were just writing. Then your coach has said to you, hey, why don't you test out some different content types?
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of went into using other people's memes.
I created my own memes. I created my own memes. I created my own videos. I created my own carousels.
Okay. How do you create a meme?
How do you create a meme? I mean, you can go to my LinkedIn and see the memes that I've created.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but you just use like a snippet of a movie, and use it in the context of. I mean, do you know that movie? Oh my gosh, the Tom Cruise movie, with the baseball. Do you know Show Me the Money? Do you know that one? Yeah. So there is one that exists, but then in this immigration visa that you have to show your salary to the US government. So I just use that of like Show Me the Money.
Yeah. So to me, I guess the reason I was bringing it up is it just sounds like the way that you were using these memes is not similar to the way that you're using the visual ideas course.
Yeah, I mean, the memes, memes can teach, memes can educate, memes can entertain, memes can do all of it. It makes you feel something, right? And there's a surprise factor to it as well. But like in these illustrations that I started creating, I also wanted to like get into the feeling side, which I have not been able to accomplish yet, but it's getting there. But I really like that the way Giannis illustrates those, or like encourages us to do so.
Got it. And I guess like you said, you really want to be great at comms. Obviously, you've got this self-limiting belief about the visual side, but you're still doing something visually with a meme by snipping out some fruit or whatever.
Right.
When do you first think about moving away from snipping an image and maybe crafting your own visual? Like, at what point in the journey does that take place?
That was after, like, it was marinating inside of me again, like completely bogged down by this self-limiting belief that I cannot draw. Then I take the course and I start like slowly but surely doodling my ideas.
I'm trying to just go backwards now to there's a point where I'm snipping movie pieces and I'm creating show me the salary.
I still do it to this day. So when I'm thinking about like content structure, my Mondays are for my memes. The Tuesdays are for carousels, let's say. Wednesdays are for videos. So I have a day dedicated to memes.
And I guess what was the time? So about January, February this year, you've signed up.
I have been creating memes. I've been creating memes since 2023, 2024.
And when, so if it was January, February that you've signed up to his course, when do you first think, hey, I need a course to teach me this? Like, why not just, like, what I'm trying to work out, what's that kind of, the seed that sprouted in your head?
The trigger, I didn't know that there was even a course. My idea was I'm just going to repurpose Giannis's visual, just as an example, and like use that to explain an immigration concept. So that was my whole idea. But then when I saw PJ Milani's course being offered, and then I stumbled upon Jefferson Fisher's book, ultimately realizing there's such a person called Yanis who's offering a course, I'm like, fine, I'll just take this course and see what it's all about.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, the initial piece of this is more, I've seen this, PJ Milani image or whatever. I don't know. It speaks to me. It's got the feeling aspect of it. Can I take this and add my commentary to it and sort of make the idea relate to my audience?
That was my goal. I mean, not just PJ Milani's, but like anybody.
Yeah.
Because I kept saving the reels and visuals on my Instagram, and I'm like, oh wow, this really speaks to me. This can be utilized to explain this part of the immigration journey. So I was completely okay with repurposing these visuals made by other people to explain immigration. But then when a way appeared where I could create something of my own to do it instead of co-opting somebody else's, that's what I have been leaning into after taking his course.
Okay, that's awesome. So it's almost like back in the day, you were snipping Tom Cruise, or you were finding something else, and you were using this to communicate your ideas anyway in a visual way. And now you're saving reels and visuals. Like, maybe can I shoot that scene? Are you actively scrolling through Instagram looking for stuff to snip? And
no, so again, like the Tom Cruise one is not in the past. I have added another element of visual storytelling to it. Like memes have been there since 2023, 2024.
Yeah.
But I've added another visual storytelling with these visual concepts type animations, whatever artwork that you can say through Yanis's course. So it was not previously I used to do this, now I have migrated. No, memes have always been there.
Yep.
I've added another way of visual storytelling through.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to understand your process more than anything else. Like, I think you said on Monday I'm building out memes, and on Tuesday I'm doing this. But at some point I'm snipping stuff that I've seen elsewhere.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I have to create memes, I'm like, my brain works in a way where I'm just like looking at a meme on my free time. I'm like, oh wow, like I could use this for that. So I just save it. I do the same for visuals as well. So I'll show you my folder. So like I have a folder like this called visual metaphors.
Yep.
Yeah, and I will just keep adding pictures here and then refining it later. So like this one was the meme, like reel that I created, that illustration.
Yeah, okay, the carry on. Yep, cool.
Yeah, so I keep saving things which would act like a point of inspiration, which I can like sharpen through iterations later on when I'm sitting and I'm creating my work.
Okay, so it's not like active. I'm setting aside hours to do this. It's more, I see something. I kind of magpie various bits and pieces, put them in a folder, and then I can come back and like let my brain do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've had this kind of thought about, can I repurpose? And then suddenly, actually, I've seen a course. Maybe I can create versus co-opt. If it was sort of January, February time that you started bought the course, when was it that you started thinking about creating rather than co-opting?
As soon as I took his course, I started creating like these illustrations, and I started submitting them to Yanis.
Yeah, sorry, I thought it was the if I'm trying to play back kind of the timeline of events. Number one is I'm on LinkedIn. Number two, I'm creating different types of content. Number three, I'm trying to do more visual content. 4, I start to see PJ Milani's ideas and think these could be, co-opted. And then you learn about courses exist and think, wow, I could create. I guess, how long ago did you learn the courses existed before signing the course?
I didn't know about like the courses existing up until like that December, January, February time frame. Yeah, like when I bought Giannis's course, I probably learned about PJ Milani's course like 3 weeks before.
Okay, so okay. Is there anything around that time of year that causes you to do this? Like, is there something because it's like the back end of the holiday season in America or whatever? Is there a point in time that's driven you to be aware of this, or is it just it so happens to have happened then?
It was very random. But I like investing in my own growth. For example, I also got another course around December time with Matthew Dix, who does storytelling. Like his entire thing is how to be a great storyteller. So I had shelled out $1,000 for his course. In 2024, I paid another guy $3,000 to teach me how to make offers on LinkedIn, which then became my full-time business. So I'm in a habit of investing in myself. And that could also have played a role in me thinking that, well, I've already $1,000, $3,000, $200.
Yeah.
Like, what's the harm in it? So I am in a habit of investing in myself. So that probably bled into this one thing where, like, again, visual communication, any type of communication is very appealing to me. So any investment in that is a worthwhile investment.
Okay. This is great. You invest in yourself, you've got a habit of doing it. Does that mean that you set aside a budget to do this? Or is it just you see something and you're like, I want it, I'm going to add it?
Yeah, same. Like, pretty much. I mean, after I've done all my investments, I've been responsible. There's fun money left. I'm going to use it.
Okay. Yeah. So this is coming out of fun money, is it?
This is fun money. I'm like, I want to learn this.
Okay. That's awesome. So you bumped into PJ Milani's course around 3 weeks before Giannis's course. Given that you're spending $1,000 on their storytelling course, $3,000 on that, why not just immediately sign up to PJ's course another 600?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that as well. I'm like, one of them is like, it was a Maven course, which was like an 8-week course. I was in India at the time, and then I was coming back to the US. So that strict timeline did not really work for me. If I remember correctly, it was not even like I could not just sign up. I had to go in a wait list or some such. But the fact that I could take Giannis's course and it was a self-paced one could have played a role in it.
So you mentioned being in India around that time of year. You're always going back to India at that time of year, just happened to be there?
I mean, this all started after my immigration status got sorted here. So since last year, I have made a concerted effort to go to India and like stay there for 3 months and escape the brutal cold and drudgery of New Jersey. So I went to India in October and then came back end of January. I'm going to do the same this year. I'm going to go in January and come back in March.
Yep. Okay. As an Englishman who lives in Singapore, I completely.
You might be going to Singapore. Like, I've been to Singapore. I love Singapore. So the food is great.
It is very good. Okay, so it's not necessarily about being in India. It's more that this is an 8-week long course. I've got to sign up and get on a wait list.
Yeah.
Why is that such a problem?
I mean, it was just around that like flux of time where I'm like coming back from India. You've gone out of your natural habitat for 3 months. You have to like acclimatize yourself. I'm also like 1 year into my business at that time, so I have to take care of content creation. I have to take care of client acquisition. I have to take care of serving my clients, and on top of that, to like stick to a regimented schedule of like that, to learning a skill that I've never learned before. That was a lot to take on.
Okay, thanks. And I haven't asked this before. Is this you solo business person? Okay, so you're the only person. So basically, what you're just saying there, I've got to do the marketing, the sales, the delivery.
And then the tax season was coming up because taxes in the US is like March, April. So I just did not want to have that added pressure.
Okay, that's awesome. So you about 3 weeks beforehand, you've abandoned that. Did you then go like thinking at the time, okay, I'm not doing that because I don't have the time. I don't want to be on a wait list. let me go and actively look for a course to replace that one? No, you didn't bother.
I just, like, Jefferson Fisher just happened to post about Yanis. I stumbled into it
at the same time.
Yeah, around the same time. Again, my memory does not serve me quite well, but I'm just making stuff up as I go at this point. I think, like, just stitching things together, thinking that could be the progression. You know what? Actually, wait, hold on. I want to see something.
Yeah, sure.
I want to see, because I took a picture with Pejman Mila. Sorry, Jefferson Fisher. So I'm like, when did I take that picture? That should give us a better timeline. I hope this does not like botch up our entire thing. I'm like, oh,
look, this is awesome, right? I think I'm just trying to make sure I've got dominoes falling in the right sequence.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, where did Jefferson Fisher go? Hold on, I know I have his picture. Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah. March 19th is when Jefferson Fisher, and I went and I saw him. So around like February, March is when I must have signed up for Yanis's course.
Okay, so the Jefferson piece you've learned after you've joined Yanis's course.
No, Jefferson Fisher published his book. I go to his signing, and then I start reading his book, and then I follow Jefferson on Instagram. Then he posted about, like, hey, this book. He was thanking people who were behind the book. So he tagged Yanis. So around like the March time could be when I joined. That also, like, makes sense, because like March and April is when I'm completely stressed about taxes. So that's why, like, taking another course when I'm navigating other uncertainties in life did not seem to be worth it.
Which again, seems quite interesting. So March 19th, I've gone to this book signing. Jefferson, I'm following him. He's thanking people. I see about Yanis and I think, oh, there's a course there. But I'm completely stressed around taxes and I don't want another course.
Yeah.
Why am I adding Yanis's course? Why not just wait?
Because he was giving a one-time like discount on his price. Like, it was $239 and he was bringing it down to a couple $100. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just pay it.
Okay, so and had you intended to take the course at that time then, or were you just trying to get the discount?
Yeah, I just got the discount, and then once I got the course, I'm like, okay, let me like wander around and see what's going on. And that's when, again, like, his course was like bare bones 7 chapters, so I just took it.
Okay, so even though you were super stressed with the tax season, you could take it because it was bare bones.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that. And I guess where are we? So we've got there. We've seen this. We've got the discount. One thing that's interesting. So you've mentioned that having joined the course, you've really liked the feedback and the direct piece there. Yanis does offer like a one-on-one coaching package. It's much more expensive. You're the sort of person who invests in their own growth. Did you see the more expensive package and consider
I did. And then it depends on where I am in my journey, right? Like, I'm not looking to be a prolific visual communicator right now. I just want a stake in it. I want to grow in it. So I really, I mean, price is not a barrier right now. But I wouldn't know how to utilize Yanis's one-on-one time. Like, what do I do in the one-on-one that I'm already not getting in the feedback session? So that is the reason why I did not sign up for that.
Okay. So there's a couple of pieces there. So one is, I'm not looking to be prolific. I just want to stake in it.
Yeah.
Again, you're creating a ton of content. You're pushing it out on LinkedIn. So you are kind of prolific as far as it sounds relative to most people.
Yeah.
Why not? But like, what's the, like, how do
for now, I think the one-on-one is also Yanis. Again, I might be wrong, but that's how I perceive it, that he's doing the work for you or with you. Like, I really do not have like such an incredibly pressing idea that I need it to look very pristine, that I want Yanis's head on it. Like, it's just a piece of content for me right now. So, and I do have the time and space to be scrappy with it. So that's the reason why I'm doing it on my own, and I'm trying to grow as a visual communicator. And I do not want to delegate it completely to an expert like Yanis.
Okay, thanks for that. Excellent. Thanks. Apologies, I'm using one of these remarkable paper tablets, which have been excellent for a year, and now it's taken up ghosting, so I can't quite write as fast as I normally would.
Right.
Okay, so basically, if I'm hearing you right, the price isn't the issue here, right? You've spent thousands or $3,000, so if it's the right solution to the right problem, you'll pay for it.
I'll pay for it.
PJ Milani's course looked exponentially more expensive, but actually it's not about the price. It's more, I can't fit it around my schedule. It's too rigid.
Yeah. And also, to be fair, like PJ Milani, after when I got into his wait list, he was giving a heavy discount. Like it was a couple of hundred, like $300 or $350 for an 8-week course. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like but it was also the time that I had already gotten into Yanis's course. I was getting what I needed. So I really did not see the point of doubling down on PJ Milani's course. But at some point I will take this course because I just want to take it for him.
Okay. So this is more, I've got a heavy discount, but actually a lot of this is timing. It seems like it's tying back to this. I'm not looking to be prolific. I just want a stake.
Yeah.
Why does that matter now? What is it that, why buy a stake if I don't want to be prolific?
I mean, eventually, the word over here is yet. I'm not prolific yet, but I want a ladder, not leap. Where like, oh my gosh, she did not know how to draw, and look at her now, Michelangelo and Picasso of storytelling. Like, not really. Again, like now that I have the construct of how do I think about it, like I really want to get into the zone of like, okay, how do I get ideas? Like, how do I get these ideas? Because right now I'm running dry of ideas. The drawing is not the issue here. The ideas are the issue. So I'm like, how do I? And if Yanis is taking feedback on like how to make his course better or how to make his business better, I think that is one element that he could really hone in on, where his entire course says you have an idea, how do you communicate it? But sometimes we just don't have fucking ideas. I'm like, where do I look for ideas? What do I do? What is an idea even? Right? I have a thought, but is that an idea? Putting myself in that thinking zone, in that zone of inspiration, is what I want to get better at, and then use Yanis's toolbox to flesh out that idea into a clear concept.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. Just thinking about this. So if I go back to March or whatever it is, so roughly you're signing up. So you've looked. You say, I don't really need Yanis's help. So it felt like the more expensive piece was done for you, whereas you wanted more DIY. I'm not an artist. I want to learn how to do this myself.
If you're asking me, can you rephrase that question for me?
Yeah. So I think you mentioned that when you saw that you had some sessions live with him, obviously you liked that once you found it in the actual community, but at the time before, when you're actually making the purchase decision, you're like, I don't want to spend whatever it is more money. Have somebody do it for me.
Yeah, so his offer, if I remember it correctly, he was like, oh, you have this offer where you can just take the course, or you have the other offer where you get one-on-one coaching time with me or something. And I'm like, and that was like, again, I might be completely botching up the numbers, but it was like $700. And I'm like, at that time when I was making the decision, I was like, first of all, I have no idea if I can even do this. So what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do with this person sitting in front of me for a one-on-one time? So I was like, let me just dip my toe in the water before I commit to swimming.
Yeah. Okay, this is cool. Thanks. That is
And if my memory serves correctly, like his offer of signing up for the course was much more visually accessible on his page than his one-on-one offer.
Okay, so the course itself felt more visually accessible.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, you had to scroll down to the bottom right to see this like one-on-one offer. Again, if my memory serves me correctly.
Oh, okay. So if I'm trying to reinterpret that, the page, if I'm looking at the page itself, that's about the course.
Yeah.
And I can find out about the one-on-one offer at the site if I just scroll all the way down. And by that time, I'm sold on the course, and I'm not sold on a one-on-one.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Again, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah, no problem. So obviously, you're opening up your wallet, you're paying the money. At that point in time, back in March or whenever it was, were you worried about anything when you made that?
No, I mean, listen, I have had shitty professors in my life. I've paid thousands of dollars for that. Like, even if it was a shitty course, I'm out of like $150. Like, seriously, no harm, no foul. Yeah. And he seemed like a pleasant person. And also, like, he had the endorsement of somebody who I really look up to. So
who was that?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no problem.
I've seen Yanis's work in his book. I'm like, wow, this is a really good illustration. It was so simple, but it communicated the idea so well. Yanis is a very accessible expert, I would say.
Okay.
He's a human expert. Like, I can see myself being Yanis, maybe not in 2 years, but maybe 10. But for me to become Pejman, I'm like, yeah, not in this lifetime, not in this lifetime.
Okay. Why is that? Why PJ not in his lifetime?
Because, I mean, his Pejman Milani's drawings seem to be so well thought out and cohesive. Like, he has a blue palette, he has these like chubby little stick figures. It's so well, like the ideas is great, the illustration is great. Yanis is like, okay, listen, you know what? This is how much I tried. This is the best I could do. Deal. So that's the vibe that I get from him, and he's totally okay with it. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like, please give me permission to be shitty.
Okay, no, this is cool. Sorry, I'll put that somewhere else. Permission to be shitty. That's brilliant. Thanks. I guess the flip side of this particular question. So you weren't really worried about anything. I think you'd said, you've spent far more money on shitty professors or whatever in the future, and it's not found. When you pull the trigger on something like this and that particular one, what were you hoping for?
Learning that if I can do this, and seeing that there were like 700 odd people inside the group, seeing somebody like a Roberto Ferraro really helped. Seeing Yanis's video of him,
Roberto
Ferraro, like he's also another visual storyteller.
You knew of this beforehand, or?
No, I went into his website and I saw Roberto Ferraro. He was one of the speakers that Yanis had.
Okay.
And then I looked to Roberto Ferraro. Roberto Ferraro is also a really, like, he is also another Yanis-y person where it's very accessible. The other thing which I thought was a win-win was like PJ Milani was bringing Yanis for $600 in his course, and Yanis bought PJ Milani to his course for couple $100. I'm like, I'm getting both. So PJ Milani had already been to his course, I would say. I think so, if I remember correctly. That might be making it up. But yeah, I didn't really think much. But it has been good so far.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Coming up at the top of the hour now, I've asked some really dumb questions, I'm sure, but have I missed anything important?
No. Can I suggest something?
Yeah.
I think from the last conversation that we had with Yanis on a group call, like if I don't know, like what kind of assistance is he expecting from you? But one of the things that we were talking about is creating a sense of cohesion in the course. And like a lot of ideas were being tossed around. Right now, if you were to ask me what is it about Yanis's course that's still keeping me there? It's the ability to get feedback from Yanis. If that is taken away, then there's really not much that I'm expecting from that group. Like, it's Yanis's feedback that is the most valuable thing for me.
Yeah. Okay.
But if that is taken away, then the value of the group really disappears for me. So if I don't know how you're going to be able to use that feedback, but that's what I would leave you with.
Perfect. No, that is really, really great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And just on this, just to make sure, so that we're building this together. So this is like me running this research. We don't know what we're going to find yet, and so this is all good. You're okay with me repurposing this and publishing this interview?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We're just going to put it all out there because it'll help other creators, and it might help you and maybe me way as well. So that's cool. One very last question. If you close your eyes and think of an apple, what do you see?
If I close my eyes and think of an apple,
can you see anything? What do you see?
I see an apple.
Is it clear? Like what color?
It's the picture perfect apple. It's got red and yellow and like a little leaf.
You've disproved one theory that I had already. So
which is?
If you look up something called aphantasia, I discovered that I had this. So a lot of your story, I'm like, yeah, I can't draw for shit either. And I wondered whether everybody who so if I close my eyes, it's a black screen. I can't see anything.
Is it right? Oh, wow.
I only think in words. So yeah.
So you're saying that I can draw for shit.
No, I'm not. I just wondered whether because I'm like, yes, you're the first person who says I can't draw for shit. I'm like, I wonder whether somebody else who feels this way shares this lack of ability to visualize, but it seems that you don't. So so I can draw a line through that theory.
Yes. Thank you so much, Neil.
This has been really, really awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I'll let Yanis know. And yeah, I'll let you know once it's all published.
Perfect. Have a great day. Okay.
Cheers. Bye. You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, so quick feedback on that one. I've got to jump on another call now, but interesting. So this is somebody who's built a business through LinkedIn posting. I've developed this kind of style. I'm trying to create content. Can't draw for shit, but I can repurpose other images. And I kind of stumble across some different content creators and suddenly start to think, hey, you know what? Maybe I could do more than just grabbing somebody else's image and putting my commentary on it. Maybe I could do this myself. So we'll head on there. That feedback had been kept in the course by Yanis, not the group. Kind of makes sense, but she hasn't paid for that. I paid for that top tier thing with the 3 sessions with Yanis. If he wants to keep this in his course, how do you make money out of that? Like, if she's keeping consuming it, she's consuming time and effort and resources versus somebody who's paid for that. So if it's got value, can he charge for it to keep her in the course or not? I don't know. It would be interesting to see the other feedback other people have. But I've got to jump. Hopefully this was helpful. Cheers.
And there we are. So Aditi's story for me has strong parallels with Akhil's story about him wanting to have that evergreen content tree. She's more about a ladder of content here. She started off small, just I'm interested in social, I want to get out there, I think it's a good place. Paid somebody to help her, and then sort of laddering up as she moves into different content types and eventually getting to this visual idea communication course. I haven't done the full deep analysis yet, but there are a lot of parallels there. It's, when I'm trying to get engagement, when I see these posts from other people and I'm engaged by them, so there's a resonance to this. And then there's, so I can learn how to draw like this person, so I can create these things myself. I don't have to rely on somebody else. So I've got the ability to do this and to get the engagement and to get my ideas resonating. So again, more similar to that story. I'm still not certain whether she'll end up in the same job to be done as Akhil. But hopefully as you're watching through this video sequence, you're starting to see now that we're moving away from just 12 or 16, whatever it is, random interviews where everybody's telling their own story. And we're starting to say, okay, yes, it's her story. It's very uniquely, all about her business that she set up and this opportunity to drive it, and it's social first. But there are parallels with other people. And I think when we come to analyze this, you'll see that the trade-offs that people who share common motivations will be the same. And that allows us to design a value proposition that will talk more specifically to them. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed that. Cheers.